Now we're going to take a look at the Logscape process track. The Logscape process track allows us to take a pre-existing recall job edit process, import it into Logscape, and run it directly from within Logscape. We have built an image display process and saved it. I'm going to launch job edit to load this process and take a look at it. I'm going to open the job from a file, inquire for files, and select it from the default location and take a look at this process. We note that a number of the parameter values have been set to question mark. Doing this is the mechanism that allows these parameters to be displayed in the Logscape process track. So we notice, except for some of these parameters, the only other items that have been not set already are the dip log and the image log. So at this point I'm going to close this job. I'm now going to launch Logscape and build a process that will allow us to run this image display job. I'm going to drag and drop a dip log into Logscape. In addition to displaying the dip data in a track, this also sets the project field well that Recall will look in for the dip data. So next I'm going to insert a process track, double click on the track header, and we notice that we have the option to select jobs from Recall or from a file. We will leave this set to file and, as before, inquire for the jobs, and we see the same image display job that we just looked at, so we will select it. Message appears informing us that we're going to have to define some inputs before running the job. And we notice that any item with the parameter set to question mark is now being displayed. Whenever there was a screen parameter default available, it has been set up. And what remains to be selected is the source log for dip data and the source log for image data. For dip data, we have two options. It can be located already in Logscape, or it can be within Recall. Since we already have a dip log plotted, we're going to set the source to the dip log in track 1 named dips. And in case of the image log, this we're going to have to select from the Recall database. So we're going to double click on the log to inquire. And since the project field well has been preset by dragging the dip log, now we see only the image logs in this well, and we can double click to select this image log. Then all we have to do is run this process, and this takes a little while to finish because the image has to be calculated over the whole depth interval. But as we close this track, we see the image has been displayed. If we double click on the track header, we can select the color map and set that to earth colors, close it, and we now have an image log with posted dips in Logscape via the process track. This concludes the process track demo.